All right, guys, so it seems like not just Biden is experiencing some mental issues that is leading to a disconnection from reality. It seems that this has trickled down to his whole administration, right? Even the White House press secretary, Miss Jen Psaki, whom the liberals love because she just drops Psaki bombs everywhere, okay? Psaki bombs everywhere. Now, yesterday, she dropped a Psaki lie that did not go over well with the mainstream media as she was pressed by Peter Doocy on what is going on in Afghanistan. And my boy Peter Dooce dropped a deuce on Jen Psaki, right? So hard that she came out here and made a ridiculous statement that Americans are not stranded in Afghanistan. Take a look.
But does the president have a sense that most of the criticism is not of leaving Afghanistan, it's the way that he has ordered it to happen by pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded? Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home. We are in touch with them via phone, via text, via email, via any way that we can possibly reach Americans to get them home if they want to return home.
There are no Americans stranded is the White House's official position on what's happening in Afghanistan right now.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan when we have been very clear that we are not leaving Americans who want to return home. We are going to bring them home. And I think that's important for the American public to hear and understand.
Okay.
It's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not.
It's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not.
Meanwhile,
We're not calling her by her real name, but we're going to call her Fatima for this. Our next guest is an American mom and government worker targeted by the Taliban. She is trapped in Kabul and is pleading with President Biden to solve the evacuation crisis. We are not calling her by her real name, but we're going to call her Fatima for this interview, and she joins us now. Thank you for being here this morning. I know you have attempted to go to the airport multiple times. Can you tell us your situation and describe everything you've experienced so far?
Hi. Well, yes, I've made several attempts to go to the airport. First of all, I would like to thank the Fox News for letting me be the voice out there for many Americans stranded in Afghanistan. And yes, we are stranded. And I would like to thank Carol Miller, our congresswoman, and her team for her continuous effort. They have been in touch with me, and they have been my only strength here. Hearing their voices makes me feel comfortable and makes me hopeful that maybe I'll be able to make it back again home. So there's a lot of issues going on. We are stranded at home. We can't get to the airport. When we try to get to the airport, we either get beaten up or we're afraid for our lives. And
as you guys can see, that she's obviously stranded, right? In direct contradiction to what Jen Psaki was saying. But I do want to point this out real quick, because you do notice how she said that her congressperson was comforting her during the situation, right? Giving her hope that they were going to get out, right? This while at the same time you have the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, dancing with funny men, right, at a concert in New York, and Nancy Pelosi having exclusive luncheons with wealthy Democrat donors in Napa Valley, California, maskless, right? And then people say, well, what can they be doing? Obviously, you could be doing something as an elected representative of this country. But I mean, hey, they might be disconnected from reality, right? The whole Democrat Party is disconnected from reality. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this whole disconnected from reality thing, because the media has laid the path for the Democrats to be disconnected from reality. But before we get in that, even the mainstream media was not buying this BS coming from Jen Psaki.
And I understand the White House wanting to reassure the nation that all Americans will ultimately be evacuated, but there are no doubt Americans who feel stranded in Afghanistan right now.
Yeah, some of this appears to be, as you point out, a message of reassurance, and some appears to be parsing words on what exactly is stranded. Jen Psaki appearing to say that if you want to get out, the U.S. will go to great lengths to get you out. But the Pentagon has acknowledged in a limited number of cases, according to what we've heard, that there have been Americans who are having trouble getting through Taliban checkpoints, who are having difficulties and problems getting to Kabul International Airport. And that appears to be what she's not acknowledging here, that there are Americans having issues. Limited numbers, the Pentagon says, but it is certainly happening from what we've heard here, from what we heard from the Defense Secretary and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs briefing members of Congress.
So in regards to being disconnected from reality, right? The media can sit here and try to play like, oh, we're now going after the Biden administration because they're lying, even though they've been lying the whole time, okay? And to try to act like they're above it all. But really, the media has trained the Biden administration on how to be disconnected from reality, because the media, along with the Democrats, have been disconnected from reality long before this Afghanistan debacle. I mean, last year with all the protests, fiery but peaceful, okay? I mean, even recently, wasn't there like a reporter in Afghanistan and the Taliban was saying something like death to America? And then the reporter was like, they're saying death to America, but they seem friendly or peaceful or something like that, right? I mean, like, CNN, I mean, you guys have perfected the art of being disconnected from reality, right? Pretending that Antifa doesn't exist, that it's just an idea, pretending that large left-wing events or anything that's approved by the Democrat Party is not a super spreader event, but anything that is a conservative event or not approved by the Democrat Party, that is a super spreader event. I mean, like, come on, man. There's so many examples of the media being disconnected from reality. Again, I just find it disingenuous how they're trying to criticize Biden for these outright lies when dude's been lying the whole time, along with the media, because you guys was on their side. And now they decide they want to go against Biden because of the way Biden pulled out, or him pulling out of Afghanistan in general. Again, I just find the media hilarious during this point in time, right? So as this is happening, right, Joe Biden, right, Sleepy Joe, we cannot forget about him. I believe he was hosting the WNBA champions at the White House, and he made some interesting statements, right? Some statements about Kamala, in which he basically says the quiet part out loud. Take a look.
My 2 daughters were born that you can do anything a man can do. It's one thing for somebody to say that and keep pounding that in the head of their 5 granddaughters as well. But guess what? Until they see it, until they watch, it becomes real then. That's why, by the way, it happens to be in Asia for me right now, but that's why we have a female vice president of the United States of America who's going to be, we're going to have some presidents pretty soon.
All right, guys. So Biden basically almost says that Kamala is going to be president soon, right? But he changes it. He catches himself. He says we're going to have some presidents pretty soon. A lot of people are seeing this as Biden basically admitting that Kamala's going to take over from him. And that could be the case. But you guys know, I've kind of bought into the narrative that Biden doesn't really like Kamala all that much, and Biden wants to run again in 2024, despite the Democrat establishment wanting Kamala to take over for Biden, or at the very least, they wanted her to take over for Biden at the beginning until she laid an egg, okay? Because, look, you know, Biden did kind of stop himself there, right? He realized that he was about to say that Kamala was going to be president, but then he realized, like, oh, no, I don't really want that, okay? Because if he wanted it, he would stop giving her all these bad assignments, right? He would stop throwing her under the bus if he actually wanted her to be president, okay? So maybe, you know, he was on script. Maybe that's what it was, right? Because the Democrat script is for Kamala to take over for Biden. That's the script, okay? So I don't know, man. Biden making these comments is definitely interesting, right? Could it be foreshadowing him stepping down, or, you know, him being in a position where he might not necessarily be capable of running the country anymore? Possibly. It could possibly happen. I mean, we could possibly have our first female president that would not have a snowball's chance in hell of actually getting elected by the American people, right? That could be the way they force this on us, right? Forcing us to get a female president for the sake of, you know, gender equality and diversity and all that stuff, right? That could be it, okay? Because we know in 2024, Kamala cannot win. All right, she would not be able to win whatsoever. So their way of forcing this, again, may just be for Biden to step down. And he could have been foreshadowing that, right? It could be something that he doesn't want, but it could be something that the Democrat establishment is like, Joe, you got to step down. You're getting in your 80s. You got to go. That could be it as well. I don't know. But I just find it interesting that he said that. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.